All right. Thank you all for coming. We have a great crowd to listen in. The title of our presentation is a mobile app for every department. We want to talk about why this is easier than you think and why doing it's important. So I have a few slides to share. Then my name's Grant. Then my associate Ben is actually going to do a live demonstration for you, so you can see how easy it can be to do to develop these applications that people so desperately want. So without further ado, let's set the scene here. I want to talk about mobile apps and why it's important and an app for every department. And we'll do the demonstration. We'll have time for Q&A. If you have a question, please put it in the Q&A box. We'll be happy to answer it at the end. But we're only here for a half an hour, so let's get started. I wanted to start with a couple of numbers, 150 and 40%. Because I think they really give an understanding of why mobile app development is important to everyone. So let's start with the 150. You can read that this is the preferred way for everyone to get data to themselves. This is how they do it now. It's a long time coming, but it is here. More mobile devices exist than laptops, and everyone's using it all the time. So let's talk about the 40%. What does that number mean? So this was Harvard surveying companies. Over half of them said their productivity would increase 40 or more percent if the enterprise apps they had were made mobile. If they could make their enterprise apps mobile. So I have a device. Everyone has a device that they are on 150 times a day. And the companies that are surveyed are saying if we could just get some of these apps, the enterprise data, enterprise applications on these people's phones, everyone would be more productive. Right? So it's time now to take the mountain and move it. Right? Take the enterprise application and move it to people's phone. But how do we do this? And I want to talk about a couple different pieces and certainly some terms that we can walk around, because one of the things that we hear a lot is digital transformation. It's been out for 3 or 4 different years. And I'm not really talking about that today. I'm talking about mobile enablement. So let's talk about the differences between digital transformation and mobile enablement. So digital transformation is a big project, right? That has to come from the top down. It involves a lot of commitment, because what you're doing is completely re-engineering all of the business processes in a system, perhaps creating new lines of revenue. That needs a lot of commitment, and it has to start at the top. Now, there is nothing wrong with digital transformation if your CEO and the board is on board and everyone knows this is a top priority project, because you need major commitment for the start. And they are multi-year projects. And without major commitment, without CEO commitment, without board level commitment, a lot of these projects don't end up showing the ROI. And I think failure is probably a bad word to say here, but showing the ROI that was originally promised. What we're talking about here, and we do digital transformation, but what we're talking about here is a much lighter touch to your ecosystem. And mobile enablement, it's point-based. I'm getting ideas from people and I'm making mobile apps out of it. It's quick and easy, and we're going to show you that. Right? There's immediate productivity gains when you're giving people access to enterprise applications in the place they want to use it. So your community is more engaged. It captures data at the source as opposed to waiting for people to log into their laptops to do these things. It can eliminate mundane tasks if you can reorganize a few steps with workflow, which we certainly support. And a big portion of this also is it reduces paper consumption. So having this out, right, having mobile enablement as something in your arsenal to do can make immediate gains. And mobile enablement can lead to digital transformation if you get to that point. If you get enough people, eyes and ears looking at it. There's so many use cases, right? If you're asking people, it never ends, right? There was a study I read not too long ago of mobile and manufacturing. And it said even the janitor would be 38% more productive if the apps that he needed to use were on his phone. I mean, if you could make the janitor 30% more productive, think about how you're making everybody else. And they would love to be able to do it. They have the device, right? Let's enable them to get that going, right? So there's inside the organization, every department can use it, right? Every division can use it, from the shop floor, field service. I've seen accounting use it, salespeople, marketing. The CEO wants to see numbers. Just enable it to get on his phone. It has to be redesigned, but it's not hard to do. Creating mobile apps outside the organization, for suppliers and customers, delivery drivers, everyone else that touches, that brings data to your world that you end up having to enter into your core system. Why are you not giving them a mobile app? And then every part of the enterprise, right? Human capital, shop floor, distribution, finance, your custom pieces of software should be mobile enabled. But there's not a part here that I can't find a mobile app for. So if you're not asking, they're not getting told, but they're there, and there's tons of them. So here we are, companies are saying they could be more productive if we could just have mobile apps. Mobile devices are what is the most used product for everyone in your organization. So how do we start? How can we start? Right? Can I bring this in-house? Right? And we can learn all the mobile app frameworks. Or perhaps we can outsource the whole thing and hope it's not a pain in the ass to maintain. Sorry for swearing. Or do we hire new people, hire new mobile app developers as a specialist full-time? Well, budgets being the way they are, right? Here's the thing that a lot of people are doing is we can do this ourselves. Let's take the people that we have and get them to become mobile app developers. Right? And that is a fantastic idea, as long as you're not looking past the part of giving them help, and help in the way of tooling. And what I mean when I say that, because you can do this, but you can't do it without the proper tools. Like this poor gentleman, who I'm sure will eventually inflate this tire, right? Or this man fixing this car is safe for now, but without the right tools, anyone can make this difficult. And I never really understood, and I've been in application development for 25 years, going from IT departments to IT departments. I've been all over the world. And the fact that they let programmers rely on just using open languages that exist is staggering to me. Like, what other industry supports this? Like, if you went to a wood shop and you didn't see these tools, right? Or a dentist and you didn't see these tools, or a mechanic and you didn't see these, or an electrician and you didn't see these, you would wonder how they're qualified to do their jobs. All these people have tools to help them. Why aren't you taking your developers or your CNCs or your business analysts and giving them tools to make their life easier? I can't imagine going to the dentist without them. I can't imagine seeing an electrician on a line without a screwdriver, or a mechanic saying, I'll just unscrew this by hand. Give your programmers tools to make them more productive, and guess what? They will be. So let's talk about us. Why us? We're cloud-based everywhere. So people are talking about taking applications to the cloud. We're already there. Right? You can write as many apps as you want. We spin up new tenants as you go forward. You never have to worry about procuring again. And we integrate to your JDE, or if you have other databases, we can integrate to them out of the box. We will set it up for you. It takes less than a half an hour. You can write these applications without writing a single line of code. And that's what Ben is going to show you in the live demonstration. And we have everything you need from a security perspective. Besides our cloud being SOC 2 certified, we have built-in DevOps that helps you do everything from application planning through one-click promotions and deployment through production monitoring. It's all built in. So it's a one-stop shop and a one-stop support model for enabling your team to develop mobile applications. Why else? Velocity. It is speed. That's so important when you're developing these things. And this is from Forrester. And I know you guys get more than one idea a quarter. I watch it. Now think about what Amazon does. And because right now, from an IT perspective, Amazon is everyone's competition. You can see how quick they are. But I know you guys get ideas. I know you do. Everyone's got them. And what would be the difference between you being perhaps this one? Well, here's all our ideas. We'll choose one for the quarter. Or saying, yeah, we'll do all of these in a week and a half. Is the right tooling you have to get it done? And beyond that, low code and KRI systems that shields developers from technology change. That's critically important. So 8 years ago, the KRI's developer was developing widescreen applications only. Now they're developing mobile apps without a problem. And now they're developing native mobile apps. Now they haven't changed their set of skills. Our customers have not changed their set of skills at all. But we have baked all that new technology inside the platform itself. So you don't have to worry about what's coming next. We're taking care of this. We're actively evaluating wearables as we speak. So you don't have to think about it. And that's critically important because having people on staff to do that can cost a lot of money. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Ben, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Ben, are you there?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Grant. All right.
So Ben, why don't we set the scene of what we're going to do and show here?
Okay, sure. So what I'm going to show you to start off with is our inventory transfer mobile application. So essentially, we have this list of items here, and we can filter on that list. So let's say we know the item number.
Let's take a further step back, Ben.
Sure.
Who built this?
I did.
How long did this take you to build?
Maybe a couple of hours.
Is this integrated to the JD Edwards?
Yes.
And we'll show that.
Yep.
Okay. So if you've done inventory transfer, this is what Ben is going to show you. Okay, let's go.
Yep. All right. So yeah, you can filter on this list. There's also this barcode scanning icon in the filter as well. So if I click on that, it fills in that filter and then searches in the list that way. Yeah, so since this is a mobile app, we can take advantage of things like the camera and do things like signing and scanning barcodes. So that's an advantage to this as well. So if I select an item here from this list, let's do M001, click on transfer, it brings us to a new page. Some of this information came over, so the item number, the branch plant are all pre-filled out. We'll fill out this quantity. Yeah, let's say a quantity of 12, and then we have some lookups here, and these are querying the JDE databases. So let's search for this branch plant here, D30. And then we also have a location filter, so we can search on this as well. Once this loads up here, I think this query is a little bigger. Yeah, we can see all of the locations for this branch plan. So click on 1A, and then I'll type in a lot number as well. Then when we could click transfer here, see transfer complete. And so I can pull up the JDE screen now. This is the inventory transfer application. So if I search, this should be the last transfer that just came in. Yeah, it looks like this one, 1261. If we go into it, we'll see those parameters that I filled out here. You can see the quantity 12, the location 1A, the lot number 123, and then the amount. It looks like that was an invalid location that I chose, but yeah, you can see it all went into JDE and it all works. So what I want to do is, and I'll pull it up here again. I want to remake or show you guys how this screen is made. This screen with the item inquiry, the transfer button taking you to the other page and carrying some parameters along with it, and the scan button. So this is our IDE that I'm logged into here. It's all web-based, it's all in my browser. I can scroll down. These are all of the applications that I've created. Some of them took maybe a few days to create, some of them a few hours. But the one we're working on right now, this is the one that I just showed you, this inventory transfer demo. So if I click into it, it brings me into that application, the application management. So what you see here are all of the different menus that we have in our IDE. There's the security menu where you can manage users, authorizations, and stuff like that. We have development, and we have a project management menu. Yeah, so each application that you create has their own security, has their own development pieces, and has their own project management system. So the first thing that we can do here, since I'm going to create this item inquiry page from scratch, what I can do is add a new task for myself. Look and add a new task, and we'll call it create item inquiry screen. We can assign it to some job that's set up in our application, and we can call it a bug or a feature, and I'm going to assign it to myself. We have some other options here like priority, reference numbers. Then we can just type in a description here. Varying items. And then we can attach some files here as well. And just click on submit. All right.
So if you have any wireframes or mockups, you can attach those also.
Right. Yep. Yeah, you can do that in the attachment there. Yep. Now that I submitted that, I would have gotten an email saying that the task was created. So I can go into this icon up here, which is the workbench. And here I can see all of the existing projects in my application. I want to create a new project. So I click on the plus icon. We can attach that task that it just got assigned to, and we'll click on add. And as you can see, created a new project. So we're inside that project right now. Over to the right here, we have some options. So what I'm going to do is add a new object to my project. And we can select the type. As you can see, we got batch jobs, methods, web pages, widgets, workflows. I want to create a brand new web page, so I'll select that option. And we'll call it item inquiry webinar. And we'll call the description item inquiry. And we can save it. And this will add this web page to our project. So now what I want to do is set this web page as our home screen in the application, which is an object under the setup menu. we'll select our home page, and I'm going to choose this new page that we just created and save it as our home page. And so now anytime we open up the application, we sign into it, this is the page that we'll see. So if we go back to our project and open it up, since it's a brand new web page, the page is completely blank. Yeah, so this is our web page designer. Over to the left here, we have some controls that you can drag and drop onto the web page. You can see we have buttons, we have hyperlinks, and so on. And what I want to do here is create a list. And so I can drag this list/grid onto our page. And then it pulls up a list wizard. So we can name our list here. We'll just call it items. Control type is going to be a list. And the service type, we're going to inquire on the JDE tables. So we'll click on inquire. These next 5 are optional. I'm going to disable some of these, but we want to keep the paging control and the filter control. And this filter control will add a search box to our list so we can search on it. And so down here is where we actually start the query. So I'm going to choose the connection instance. We're going to be querying the JDE database. If I click on this QB next to table name, we can select, this is our query builder. So we can select the data table path. And then if I go down here and search for the item master table, we just double click on it and then it adds that table automatically here. And so next we define the where clause for our query. So this is the builder for this portion. We can add blocks and conditions or conditions. So what we want to do is just add one filter here for the search box. And we want the search box to filter on the item number. So I can go over here to the left, the columns of the table, and double click on the item number. We can choose a different operator here. We'll do a like operator instead of an equals. And the value is already pre-filled to our search box. So that's dynamically going to be put into this query. And then lastly, we want this key to ignore blanks if we don't have anything typed in. So if I just click in the middle here, we can see that where clause is automatically formatted for us. Okay, yeah, and now the last thing that we want to do is define the results of the query. So anything that we want to come out of it. So I'll drag on over all the columns. And for this, we want to select the item number and the description. And we'll just add the selected columns. You can see they added the results here. And the only thing we want to change here is the description of the item number. We just want to get rid of the second. So it's just item number. Okay, and now when I click add control, you can see our page, that list that we just created got added to our page. We have the search boxes, we have the list itself, we have the paging control that we enabled. And so if I pull this up on my phone again, let me pull this up here. Okay, yeah, I reloaded the page. So this is our new page that we're looking at. We have the filter at the top, the search button, the list of items. And so now the only 2 things that are left is adding that transfer button next to the item numbers, and we want to add that scan button on the filter as well. So we'll start off with the transfer button. So we'll expand this to 3 by 3, add another column to our list, and drag a hyperlink on here. Call it transfer. And then over to the right here, we have some properties of this hyperlink. So we'll make the text of it transfer. The navigate URL is where we're going. And we want to go to the inventory, can't spell, inventory transfer page in our application. And then the last thing is parameters. So we can send parameters to this page. If you remember, the item number and the business unit were pre-filled out. So we can send those parameters over from this page. And for the item number, this is going to be dynamic for each entry. So we can make it dynamic. And this is the items query that we defined. And we can just select the item number out of that query. We'll save it. And the second parameter is business unit. And we're just going to set that. We're going to hard code it to M30. So that's going to be the default. Okay, so now we have a transfer hyperlink. Yep.
That can be dynamic too. We're just, for time's sake, we're just going to make it M30.
Yeah, it could be dynamic. It could come from a user property. It could come from a query. So the last thing we want to do is create the scan event. So we'll go here, the model controllers and events. We're going to add a new controller. We'll call it scan, native scan. And clicking on this gear icon for this new controller that we created will bring us into the process canvas. And this is essentially where we define all of the logic for our application. As you can see, since this is a scan event, it already defined 3 services for us. So we can just connect these up. And the idea behind the scan is we want the scanned value to populate the text box. And then we want to invoke a search on the list. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to update an element, and the element we're updating is the search box. So we want to grab the ID of the search box and fill it in here. And then we want to invoke a click on that search button. And so that's what we're doing here. The ID of the search button. And the event type is going to be a click. Close out of that. And so now the last part is just connecting the search box to that scan event that we created. So we'll go to events, and we want to add a new, in this case, we want it to be a right icon click. So when we click on that right icon, we want to trigger a scan, and we want to call our scan controller. And the very last thing we want to do is over in the properties here. First thing we want to do is the text. We want to connect it with what we're getting back from the scan. So this is the scan controller, and we're just grabbing the value from it. And we need an icon. We need the right icon. So if we click on this question mark here, it'll bring us to Google Fonts. Here we can search for whatever we need. So for a scanner icon. And we just need to copy the name here and put it in this property here. And so now everything is set up. So if I reload the app here, you can see the transfer button was added and the scan button was added. So if we click on that scan icon, it should pull up the camera, and we can scan this here, pre-filled the text box, triggered the click on the search button. And then if we click on that transfer button, it brought over the item number and the branch plant, as you can see.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you, Ben. I'm just going to share my screen one last time. So we did a lot right there, but it only took 12 minutes. So in 12 minutes, we had a mobile app using native device controllers running. And we did it right in front of you, including a little bit of the DevOps involved. We didn't promote it, but we still had it running through the proposition. So let's talk about, from our world, what is our value proposition? We have all of this here. So you can create web, mobile apps, native, workflow, headless. We do JDE integration. We have free education and some mentoring involved. And you only pay for what you use. So we don't charge based on developers. We don't have this gigantic price that you have to pay up front. If you need to start small, we start small with you. We want to grow with you to the point at which we want you to try this. You can try this. We will set it up against your JD Edwards instance. We will give you all the training for free. We will give you some mentoring. We will help you with the project. If you want us to do the project instead, if you have an idea and no time, we do that all the time as well, and they're free of charge. So I just want to bring kind of a call to action, right? Is to look at one of those ideas, just one of them, right? Give us a call. We'll set up our cloud system to your JD Edwards, right? Build that mobile app, or we'll help you build it. And if you don't think like, well, I don't have time to build all these applications, we have a ton of digital solutions that are already pre-built, all cloud-based as well. So we do have a couple questions. I'm going to get to them, and I know we're about a minute over schedule, so I'm going to do it right now. So the first question was, does your cloud-based support our on-premise? And the answer is absolutely yes. So the vast majority of our customers running JD Edwards have their JD Edwards on-prem. So we have a secure WebSocket-based technology that connects to your inside network, that gives you gives our development platform access to your data, business functions, Orchestrator if you're using it as well. So we certainly support that, and we're happy to talk to you about it further. And the second one was, how is the app published? Is it published to the App Store? And we have a mobile container that we publish apps to. So you're writing a web application and it's published to a mobile container. And the mobile container is, if you go to look up K-Rise Systems, or you look up Easy Process in either the Google App Store or the Apple App Store, you will find it there. And we can customize it as well, so you can make it your own companies if that's something you'd like to do. The next question is, can it be integrated to SSO like Okta to JDE? And the answer is yes. Our identity management, we can handle. We have our own security model to handle identity management if you don't have Okta or LDAP, but we will integrate to Okta and LDAP as well. So we use SAML for our own security model, so that it shouldn't be a problem. The last two questions were, can this support signature capture? And we sort of briefly mentioned it, but yes, it does support signature capture. And geocoding is next. And the last piece was, what does this cost? And all of our pricing, and I know we're out of time, but all of our pricing is on our website. If you go to K-Rise Systems, I think I can show our website here. All of it's here in platform pricing. It starts as little as $11 per end user per month. So that said, I'll pull this up one more time. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. If you have more questions, feel free to contact us, sales@krisystems.com. Go to our website and fill out our contact us form. If you want to try the platform, that's on there too. Everyone have a great day. Take care.